Hey team, I'm just going to grab my co-hosts up on stage and then we'll get started. Let me just see who's in my list today. There they go. Let's find. There's Deni. We'll grab Deni up on stage, and there's Francis. We'll grab Francis up on stage, and so we'll just wait for those guys to get up on stage, and then we'll get started. I can see got a few of you trickling in, which is really cool. This webinar is oh, there they go. Hey Frankie, good morning, nice to see you. We'll just wait for you to jump up. We had a few technical difficulties in our testing yesterday, so he might just be getting himself sorted in terms of video and stuff, so we'll give him a minute. I'm just going to introduce myself and Frankie first, but I will let you know I've got a dog and I've got some treats here because she barks. So every time we're having a little bit of a barking episode, I will bribe her and we should be good. So my name's Lou Donnelly Davey. I'm the CMO here at Relab, back into running these really cool webinars with you guys. Nice to see you all here. I can see everyone trickling in, which is really cool. I'm joined here today with Francis, who is one of our sales execs at Relab. Francis, I'll just let you introduce yourself while I see everyone else trickling in, and I'll just check on Deni.
Cool. Good morning, guys. How's it going? My name's Francis Kane. I've been with Relab for 6 or 7 months. Been loving it so far. I work quite closely with agents, just helping them use Relab. I go out to branches, speak with branch managers as well, and I really enjoy hopping on the webinars as well. So I think this is my second one, Lou.
Yeah, lucky number 2.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it doesn't look so lucky at the moment, Francis, because Deni is trying. He's in the chat still trying. Just whatever you did yesterday, Deni, let's try that again. Oh, there you go. He's gone out. Sometimes going out and coming back in again works really well. So nice to see everyone trickling in. So today we're going to be talking to Deni Bevin, who is a, good morning from Austin, Texas. Awesome, international. Deni's a really successful real estate agent down in Queenstown, and I had the pleasure of working with him when I was working at Harcourts. He does some really cool stuff on social media, and it was a bit of a pioneer actually when it came to doing short form content, video content on social media. Everyone sort of used to say, oh, what's this social media garb? And Deni was one of the very first sort of people that really started putting his personal branding out on social media. And hang on a minute, I'm just going to have to try and grab him back in again. He's probably sitting there going, pull me back in, Lou. Where is he? There he is. Let's try again. Bring you back up, Deni. So he does a lot of video content. He does very well for himself down in Queenstown, and he really focuses on his personal brand, his connection to Queenstown. There he is. Deni, I'm just introducing you to everybody. Hey, we're here. Cool. So, look, I'll just hand over to Deni to introduce himself. Deni, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Me and Francis have just had a wee bit of an intro. I've done a wee bit of an intro for you. Why don't you just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your business, how long you've been in real estate, and then we'll just launch in with some questions for
Sounds good. Hey, kia ora, Deni Bevin, born and raised in Queenstown. I've been selling real estate professionally for 18 years now. Prior to that, I was a professional snowboard athlete for New Zealand. And yeah, I guess you get that when you live in Queenstown all your life. So that's pretty much been kind of my scene. I guess what we're talking about today is the element of real estate and social media and that kind of engagement. So that's what I love doing. And I think there's a huge area for growth there as agents in that space.
Yeah, cool. Hey, so Deni, why don't you tell us a little bit how long have you been in real estate, and what your sort of philosophy is and your why for being in real estate?
My why for being in real estate was it was always kind of playing on my mind. As a professional athlete, the body doesn't last forever, so I needed to come up with something else that was going to see me employed, and also I guess real estate was quite attractive, as you're kind of always doing something different, and you can, I guess, play to your strengths. Everyone's a little bit different. I had some video skill and I guess a little bit of, media kind of orientated stuff coming out of snowboarding. And I guess, in the discussion today, that's what I'll be kind of encouraging, is because everyone is different. I think, again, I'll speak from my personal experience, but sometimes real estate can be a little bit cookie cutter, and there are some kind of repeat processes, and I see the same patterns occurring with psychological processes for buyers and sellers. But again, formerly working for a larger company, now working basically for myself, there was always a strong encouragement that the individual always sat above the brand. Brand comes in behind, but it's you they deal with, and it's you that they trust. I guess the element of social media allows you to have that working for you 24/7, and also instead of just shelling out heaps of money on various different kind of marketing concepts, it takes a little bit of time. But real estate on social media is really good. And my philosophy, coming into real estate was always, I'm going to be myself. The one thing I will say about video and social media, it does drill down to your heart pretty quickly. So it's really important to, again, be yourself. And I guess we're in a service industry, so I'm always a big encourager of focusing on that. The money is a natural byproduct of providing good service.
Yeah, I love that. And, that whole concept of, just being authentic and just being vulnerable in who you are. And you can't get away from who you really are. And I really believe that everyone's got a gift and everyone's got some unique traits and characteristics and talents. And, if you really focus in on, being authentic, I think that's probably why you've been so successful. Hey, let's talk about personal branding. So, personal branding as an agent, you've mentioned this, is super important. So you've got your brand, but personal branding and having you and your authentic self sitting above that brand is really important. So what are your tips for discovering your own personal brand, and where is a good place to start online to build that personal brand?
Yeah, good question. There's it can be, I guess, a little bit overwhelming, all the different platforms that are available to you as an agent. There's the one word, which is omnipresence. I was raised by a hippie mum, and so there's that natural thing of and it's not necessarily with people buying or selling houses and seeing an agent, but it's with a lot of things. Different brand elements, obviously, with being able to track you online and things. You'll think, or you'll talk about, say, gym membership. Winter's coming, ski season, and then lo and behold, new gym memberships will start popping up in front of you on your algorithm on social medias. So it's actually, they did a funny test on a radio station, and they said, we're going to, you guys have all got your phones, rush hour traffic, whatever. We're going to talk about this specific topic. Come back to us in a couple of days and see what comes up on your phones. And it is true. So I think those the elements of the omnipresence is really important. It can be a little bit overwhelming. There's stuff like Hootsuite and other elements. Hootsuite is a program that allows you to multi-list across all platforms at once. However, that being said, each platform provides maybe a different audience, and it's slightly nuanced. LinkedIn is fantastic. To be a base level, person on there, like paid accounts. It's not that cheap, but when you think about it, $725 a year, something, you get access to a lot more professional kind of level people. And so perhaps your language needs to be a little bit different, whereas I'm also on TikTok. And so that's a little more raw. I'm obviously, advocate of helping people for real estate sales, and purchase. However, I'm finding myself answering a lot of tenant questions on there as well, tenant and landlord questions. I'm a big advocate of mental health as well, mental well-being. So that's kind of they generally say when you are going in, you want to be real hyper targeted for your, for your industry. but I'm doing a little test on TikTok to be, you know, because I'm being myself, I've got a couple of different layers there. Twitter's also pretty good. That's kind of, you know, coming back up. It's not so prevalently used in New Zealand, but it's worthwhile getting into. Instagram, originally designed for photographers to be able to put their work up, went very video heavy. The term reels, those are quite short and sweet. Maximum sort of reels a couple of minutes. So you know, you can be a bit quicker on those platforms. Instagram, for those of you who are already on there, they've actually altered the algorithm recently to go a little, to find a balance between still images, carousel images, and video. So it's not just video. But yeah, so I think that omnipresence element is pretty important. And again, yeah, figuring out what works for you. If you're coming out of another industry, perhaps, you know, like, you know, a different sports, different sales, you know, play to your strengths. And also things like Facebook are really good for community groups. You can get in there and get active, and, you know, you need to, I think, I found in real estate that, you know, working for bigger companies and gleaming experience off older people, often there was that, you know, just ask for the business, which is really important. But I feel the new element is give, and then ask for the business. So provide value, genuine value without any expectation of return, you know, because you don't want them to smell commission breath even across the internet. So I think it's really important to, look at the different genres, find out what works for you, play to your strengths. You know, like if you're part of the bowling club or the tennis club, whatever, like be the person on there that so everyone in that tennis club and everyone that plays tennis in your area knows that you're the real estate person and that they can come to you without any pressure. You know, I even, when I see a new listing come up and, you know, perhaps I missed that listing and I'm like, damn, you know, but I'll still wish them well and I'll still offer them service, you know, like, because sometimes, unfortunately, the real estate industry gets tarred with a bit of a, you know, used car salesperson brush. And, you know, my personal goal is to break that mold. So I think being really transparent and just offering service. And yes, you have to put a lot of time in, and it feels like you're smashing your head against the wall. But then occasionally you'll get a win. I was doing videos on LinkedIn for a long time, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Did an appraisal, asked the person, why am I sitting in here? It said, you know, I'm a ninja watcher. I've been watching your content on LinkedIn for 6 months. I haven't commented, liked, or anything, but that's why you're here. You know, that was worth it. That one listing, which was a good listing and sold well, that was worth all that time that I put into that app.
It's funny that you talk about commission breath, because Tom Panos talks about that too, and the concept is funny and it's hilarious to you know, non-agent, but that is so true, right? Because people can smell it a mile away. Yeah. And the whole give thing, you know, that's applicable across all industries. Our industry, you know, in particularly for real estate agents. So I love that. Hey, Frankie,
maybe I might have plagiarised that line from Tom. But R&D.
Oh, it works. I love it. I love it.
Duplicate. So you know, like, which is really good. And you know, that being said, you know, like if you don't know where to start as far as, you know, what am I going to do on there? Get on and follow some other people. Most people who are very active, especially if they have big followings, they will potentially still give you some intel. A lot of people, you know, like what, you know, I'm endeavoring to do is they offer this service for free. Like a lot of people in the States are really good. Yeah, their market's slightly different and the way they sell real estate is, you know, buyers agents, sellers agents is slightly different. But most of the time, like I've interacted with some good people over there, but also find out what works and find out what doesn't work. I'm not a massive fan. I'll still do it. You know, just listed, just sold, these kind of things. I find that a bit yawn, you know, and same, you know, obviously changing market and agents always looking for listings. It has its place, but, you know, like, for example, in Queenstown, you know, I've been watching, say, other agents, and there's a lot of, you know, like, you know, looking for a free appraisal, you know, like, you know, how much stuff's worth? It's kind of like, yeah, and that's cool, and it might work. Great. But everybody's doing it, you know, so I think that ability to offer service for, hey, look, you know, like that's what I do, you know, like say on TikTok, for example, and I'm getting a few people asking questions. That platform is really cool because you can actually take the question and then you can make another video out of it, and then that works really well. So yeah, I think there's and again, just quickly on those different accounts. You don't have to be on every account. You can find out what works, but a lot like with a lot of other real estate marketing and advertising from a personal agent brand perspective, you need to do a bit of trial and error, like some just listeds, like in the mailboxes or things like that. They work, they don't. We're moving into a world where we need to be recyclable and, speaking openly, I think our industry can be a little wasteful. And so, I'm completely paperless now. So there's some really good tools. I've got an iPad Pro and a pencil. Apple Pencil, and so anything physical is all signed there, which is really good. People are getting used to it. It almost feels like paper, which is really good. You've got DocuSign and a few other digital signature kind of elements, and so those are pretty good. Paper still has its place, but just elements like that. So again, social media is great. One, because we're often time poor, but if you're starting out as an agent, maybe you've got a little bit more time on your hands. It's a great opportunity to build your platform. A couple of businesses, Kiwi Water Park is a prime example in Cromwell. So it's one, those inflatable kind of, jump in the water and, double bounce your mates and that kind of thing. She didn't really have much marketing budget because she put her heart and soul and all her finances into building it. And so she just went hard on TikTok and then also on LinkedIn. She speaks a lot to it on LinkedIn, and it worked really, really well. So there's a huge opportunity. And also my strong personal opinion is playing the long game, which is what you kind of have to play in real estate. Is in 5 to 10 years, if you're not an agent that's across at least a couple of platforms, ideally all platforms, with a strong element of organic reach, then you're going to be in trouble. So I think that, again, that omnipresence, the digital natives are coming into the house buying space, and then that will soon be the house selling space. And, there's still some benefit of advertising, again, formerly working for a large company and asking more senior agents, how much money do you invest in personal profile? And they were kind of like, just do heaps of vendor advertising and then you'll get promotion out of that. And yes, that is relevant. As another one, I think from Tom was recency trumps loyalty, which is people are going to look around the area for the people who are doing the business. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to, like a novice or a club rugby player to go on your professional rugby team. You want an All Black, sort of thing. So you want the person that's doing the job and, has that recency. So I think, there's a lot to be said for social media, perhaps not as much now, but definitely in the future from an organic perspective, because advertisers are moving into the space as well. So then comes advertising saturation too. People really want to connect with someone. They want to feel like that they can trust them, that they're going to do a good job. And that's the way to do it, because it's always working for you. Sorry, go, Lou.
And that's interesting that you talk about, going paperless and doing all these sort of things slightly different. And that in itself is part of your brand. And, that's going to really appeal to some people. That's going to really tick the boxes for some people, because people are looking to work with not just real estate agents, but companies and organizations who match your values, who meet you where you're at, in terms of, what you believe in. So that's a really good one. Frankie, I'll pass over to you. I think you've got some questions that you want to ask me as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of what you said, Deni, I totally agree with, by the way. I think the last 12, 15 years has been a super interesting time for social media, paid advertising. You were speaking a lot about all the different channels, right? So say if I was an agent, I think it's super important to reach the widest audience possible, to be as active as you can on all of those channels. Mm-hmm. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. A lot of the kind of content creators, even YouTubers, they're posting reels across 3 or 4 different platforms. And I was just wondering, with real estate agents, a lot of the times you see profiles which post a lot of similar content. what are some ways agents can stand out on those platforms?
Good question. I mean, first, I guess, I don't know of the balance of the audience here today, people that have been in the game for a little while that want to kind of keep revising, or perhaps some kind of new people. But, I'm always a big fan of playing to the strengths. Come winter time, I was always trying to do a video up the mountain. I always habitually drive up on the first snowstorm, because I got snow tires, and I'll do one from there. And I have the blessing of living in Queenstown, so people like to live vicariously through us locals if they're not here. So I kind of play to that a little bit. I mentioned a tennis club, that kind of thing. If you like gardening, put some gardening tips up. If we just got a new puppy, and it's my second Staffy. And I think I did pretty well training the first one. And so I'm getting asked a few people. So I'm just doing a little bit of content and stuff like that. The one thing I would say to, real estate agents, young and old, is learn how to edit video. There's a lot of apps on the phone. TikTok is a really good, and I think that's why people find it easy, is the editing facility on the phone is really easy. But that being said, if you are trying to have an omnipresence element with your video stuff, find an editing program that works for you. There's heaps of ones that are very simple. I'm a Mac person, so I was using iMovie for a long time. Comes free on the computer. I've moved recently to Final Cut Pro, which is a Mac tool, because I want more, and also for me as well. Speaking, kind of repeating again those the slightly different nuances of the different platforms. Is vertical and horizontal format. So I'm trying to work out to be able to, because it's kind of like screen space. As you're going to advertise at the start of at the cinema in your local town, and you've got a screen this big, but your ad's only that big, or worse, it's super low resolution. Like you get the local ads at your local theatre, and sometimes the resolution that they put their ad up in is really bad. And it's like, maybe this is more to the more longer term agents, is radio advertising has always worked really well. But when I started radio advertising, I don't really do it so much anymore. I was like, what's the end result? Who's listening to this ad, and what do they want to hear? Which was for me kind of tradies and that kind of thing that are like, I actually got my buddy, the lead singer of Shapeshifter, to do an ad for me. And I wanted the ad 30 seconds. I wanted the last 10 seconds to just be a really awesome tune, kind of thing. And then, anyway, it came out and people liked it. What was, it was, at the time, I think, 10 years deep in the game. So I've been doing real estate for 10 years. And then that became, like a good conversation point. However, at the end, I was like, to the people listening to it, is it getting a bit old? Are you getting tired of it? And they're like, yeah, we're getting sick of it. So you need to change. Same, I do a little bit of stuff on Queenstown Trading, which most places have these trading pages, right? But I'm very sensitive. There's no way I'd go on there and go, hey, looking to sell your house, because I'm going to kill it. For most of the people, I go on there. Like I put up one the other day, because it's been real hot and dry here in Central Otago, and there was a little bit of remnants of a fire. Someone had a fire just down by the river. I know from walking there every day with my dog that the winds pick up. And last thing we need right now is a bushfire. So I put that up. Or, people, tourists in Queenstown wanting to get a dog and then leaving to go overseas and looking for a forever home. And so I very carefully pitch that in, but I'm known as the real estate agent that cares for the community. So like if you are going to go on those platforms, I use the tennis club, local suburb is a good one. And they're really amazing, those platforms, man, like missing pets, like security, these kind of things. They're amazing, and you can offer a service. It's a piece of cake. You just go in there and say, hey, if anyone needs a hand, I drive a Hilux with a winch. So come winter time, I always say on my local page and at this point, hey guys, if you get stuck, let me know. I love putting my chains on, and I like helping. And so that's really cool, because that sits in front of mind is always key in our industry. And so you can be front of mind, not just by saying, knowing anyone wanting to buy or sell. That's something I had to learn to do, to ask, like, oh yeah, send me some puppy training tips. Cool, yeah, cool. No, here you go. Hey, and look, I do real estate, so look, if you know anyone buying or selling, and they go, yeah, whatever. But it tucks away and sits in the back of their head. And then, sure enough, they'll be at a poker night or they'll be having a couple of beers. We've just got an awesome job. We're going to sell up. You've got to see my friend, man. They're really good. And it's the omnipresence. Everything's always working for you. And it's a pain in the ass having to do videos and edit and learn all these tools. I love video. I put off learning how to edit and, I have to get more memory for my computer. I have to get a new program, whatever. I wish I'd started it a little bit earlier. Like a lot of stuff in real estate that you finally do, and then you realize it works. I think people who have been in the industry a while can probably pick a few things that they wish they had started earlier. And video editing and, using video tools is one of those.
Yeah, super interesting. I remember last winter you rescuing people on the side of the road, or,
right.
Seeing your posts about rescuing people. And, again, that sort of sticks in your head. And I think, what you're trying to say there is you lead with value first. Again, that goes across all industries, really, doesn't it? Lead with value first. And it's that community building around your personal brand that makes sense. Being genuine, being authentic, going out of your way.
Sorry, slight tangent, but so again, the different things. Facebook's getting a little bit older, and there's a few other things, but it still has real relevance, especially for groups. For example, I bought it's an electric motorbike called a Suron, and it's really, really fun, and that's quite a new kind of thing, and I'm into it. So I'm just about to start a local group, and it's just for the Suron riders, so that we can come together, we can be responsible. Not, we can't use the mountain bike tracks because we'll, do too many skids on them, and that kind of thing. But that's a little community. So for people perhaps starting out, have a look across the pages and see if people that like ginger kittens, people that like growing weird vegetables, I don't know, something like that, and that you're into, because you've got to be into it. You can't go, I want to do this because I want to make money. I feel it's kind of heading towards a losing game. It should always be a byproduct. You should always, it's real heartbreaking. Someone lists their property with somebody else, and then asks you for advice, but you've got to have thick skin, and you just got to put on, even if you go and cry in the background, be genuinely happy for them. Somebody listed with another company. I was the only agent out of the 6 agents they got that called them to just check on them every week to 10 days. And look, that house ended up selling with someone else, but they refer me now because I was the person always in front, and they follow me on social media. Some stuff, they disagree, like when I put it up. And that's okay too, because in a world where censorship is pretty full on, sometimes having us, agreeing to disagree is also good. So, but yeah.
That's interesting too, because look, I think the most interesting human beings that I know, you included, and some of my family and some other people around the country, are those people that can potentially be a bit polarizing. Now, Tom Panos, I love him, but he is quite full on. He is the perfect example, just like you, Deni, that I think, being authentic can sometimes mean being a little bit polarizing. You can't be everyone's cup of tea, though. So, hey, caution to the wind. Be yourself first and foremost. I love that.
Yeah,
I love
80-20, 80-20. But you want 80% of people talk, there's even someone who goes, don't really like that person, but shit, they're good at selling houses. Do you think you're going to get a call? Like that, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I wanted to just, maybe I'll just, because we, running, maybe you want to roll through any more of the questions. I had a thought about just kind of tips for video, but we'll see if that might just come out.
Yeah. Let's just, so we're just about up to, so we'll do another 5 minutes of chatting. And then if anyone's got any questions, throw them in the channel on the right, and I'll get to those at the end. So we'll probably do another 5 minutes of just chat. We've gotten through quite a bit already. I do want to know, how you actually record your videos. What do you use? Do you use your iPhone or whatever? And what sort of equipment do people need, when they're starting out? Now, my dog's barking again, so I'm going to go on.
Like 20 years ago, this is a computer. Like, people make millions of dollars with this thing. You just have to do it. You know, like that's the other thing as well. I think people get I don't know if you were working then, it might have been before I went to a conference. Or used to work at Harcourts. It was a big Harcourts conference, awesome. But this lady was from the States, and she was like doing it was when video was coming on, and try and show it in the thing. But she was like, she had to do a video. It was a Sunday with with her family, and she was like, hold the camera up, hide those chins, kind of thing. But you've got this. This is amazing. You can do amazing stuff on it. You can get little gimbals and things that will steady stuff. You could just start with that. But it's interesting. It's like people, when we're selling their houses, they want to spend all the money on the reno, heaps, tens of grand, but then they don't want to fork out, 3 or 4 grand for an awesome marketing campaign to tell the world. I've just invested in, this is the new GoPro. So GoPro 11. The thing I like about this, I've got a little media kit. It's got a light and a microphone and extra battery. The good thing is it has a certain format, a custom format, and it shoots at a really high resolution. So then for me, I can pull out vertical and horizontal formats, because you want to be using the format that the app you prefer likes, like TikTok and Instagram need a horizontal, vertical format, whereas other stuff needs the other one. So that I've got like a proper camera. So I shoot video on this. And I use it for stills as well. So I'm about to go up to Glenorchy this afternoon, and I've got a little drone as well, because sometimes I need to shoot my photos myself. And so I'll just kind of do that. Most of the time I use a Pro. ImageWorks in Queenstown is kind of the go-to. But also you can't always book them at the right time, weather, etc. So I've got the ability to shoot, pretty good photos of a listing myself. I don't like doing it. It's always use the Pro. But there's lots of different tools. I've got a couple of lights kind of going in the background at the moment as well. That's one thing for video is a bit of lighting, and then the other one is sound. Like actually, sound is more important than video quality. Like if they can hear you, and a lot of the apps allow you to put captions in as well. I think captions are really important because a lot of people listen without the sound on the bus or something.
From that kit you have, sorry, Lou. From that kit you have there is, you've got 3 different kind of setups there to keep the content fresh, I guess, as well. And you're speaking about drone footage, which always looks good in video. So, I think that's something to take note of. Just always switching.
100%. I mean, and also the element of like being very conscious of the overwhelm. Like that. Oh God, I got to look. Like coming up with excuses. Actually, can't remember, Grant Parker. He used to work in Auckland, runs the Wanaka Harcourt office now, good bugger. And we'd catch up at Harcourt stuff, and I was like, I think it was the 3rd time. I was like, yeah, Grant, I really like your videos. Oh, I really want to do that. And he was really good because he goes, well, Denny, don't be the same. You just be the same as everybody else that says that same thing to me, and they never do it. And then, but that was really good because I was like, stuff you. And I got into it. Try it. Some people don't like the way they look, age, favors no person and that kind of thing. Some people on Instagram have a really good success. One guy he just does diagrams. He just writes on a piece of paper. He preps this kind of thing. He's not even on the camera very much. He just talks. Like you can just go and film around your local area, or bringing other people in, building inspectors, the local dairy owner, anything. Like you don't have to be on the camera all the time. Look, at the end of the day, it is social media, and they do want to know you. So, that element, but yeah, I think honestly, just start with this, you can get amazing footage from it. Maybe actually, here's you go, get this, and it's in the cupboard, I can't grab it. Just a simple tripod. You can get ones with kind of like grip legs so that you can put it in different places, because often that, or, man, take your shoe off. That's a classic one. Take your shoe off, camera in it, something stable. So,
folks. Yeah, you don't have to have all the fancy stuff, but and I think that's super important too. I mean, look, I don't love presenting. I'm an introvert. I don't know about you, Frankie, but having a yarn with people like on a webinar like this is super fun. So the end outcome is so worth it for having to put your ugly mug online, isn't it?
Actually, and on that, if you're doing stuff, is I used to. Sometimes when I'm doing things to camera, I'd like just shoot it in one piece, and I found myself doing that kind of thing, and I'd put it I mean, but it's good because you start to become aware, you know, when one realizes one is half asleep, one is already half awake. But then also sometimes I'd muck a word up or that kind of stuff. Now I just let it go. I just chop the ends off, you know, like sort of thing. Because
exactly.
It's, you know, you're human. So, you know, you're going to sort of make little mistakes here and there. And I think that you know, speaks to who you are as well.
It's funny, actually, because you can see that I'm coaxing my dog with treats at the moment and, you know, trying to keep everything calm through the chaos. And I think when that, I think it was a BBC reporter or something, remember that one, his kid came waltzing into the room dancing when he was like literally doing this really important life thing. I think he broke the mold for everybody to say, hey, it's okay to have kids and dogs and partners. My son walked into a meeting the other day with his top off and literally just walked in. You know, it looked like he was naked, and you just have to let that shit go, don't you? So I think that's all part of it too, being authentic, being who you are. Hey, look, we're at 36 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, Frankie, I think you've got one question about top content themes. We'll quickly do that for 2 minutes, and then we'll just jump. There's a couple of questions.
So I was speaking earlier just about content that stands out, but maybe, Deni, if you could just suggest like 3 top themes people should focus on.
I guess the top theme is being themselves. And then again, I'll try and as I've just noticed the chat, there's a couple of questions in there. Perhaps what I can do is, I guess, you know, Relab, you guys have got access to the people that were watching today. Maybe I could just kind of throw a few links together and a couple of people that I watch, you know, that have been really helpful for me is, you know, you got to educate, entertain, be yourself, show and provide value, and show the professional person that you are. You know, if you're just rolling out content, hey, you know, the other day I had a situation with, you know, keys, you know, like, but it is a legal obligation for the seller to provide a key for every lockable door. That is always a pain in the butt when it comes to settlement and those kind of things. And people were like, you know, I did that on TikTok, I've got a story. So like, find out what works through your experience, start a little diary and go, you know, today that was a pain in the ass, right? You know, 3 mistakes I've made, you know, like, I'm a positive person, but fear of loss is a far greater motivator than opportunity. So maybe some people do hooks of negative. You know, three ways to lose money when selling your house. That'll probably get a lot more clicks than 3 top ways. It's just mine works, you know. But trial and error. You know, like even if it's a video that maybe didn't work or that kind of thing, you know, don't be, you know, leave it up. You know, a lot of people are like, oh no, it's not good. It's, you know, and don't look for the initial approval kind of rating or seeking approval by getting likes and comments. Like you might get nothing. A lot of the people out there are called ninja watchers. Remember that.
Absolutely. Hey, right. So we've got a question here from Matthew. Do you think that social media exposure can replace door knocking altogether? I ask because I find door knocking forced and uncomfortable for both parties. Yeah, I mean, look, we don't actually get door knockers here where we are. But I don't think I've ever had an agent knock on my door. But what do you think about that?
I would use door knocking if I want intel. So I would come up with, you know, I'd come in from the different angle. If you are going to do door knocking or you're being made to door knock, get a bunch of free coffee cards and take those and just go, hey, I'm giving away free coffees. And then you just go, and they go, psychologically, they owe you $5 if they claim coffee. And then go, hey, I'm just trying to ask, for example, hey, I'm going door to door as the local sales professional. Just trying to find out who rents and who owns. You know, cool. Like maybe 2 or 3 little quick things. Cool. And how long have you lived here? You know, hey, would you like me to send you some information of the recent sales once every 3 months or 6 months? I'm like, looking to sell your house, and they're like, you know, like, and would you like a free set of steak knives? Like, you know, like kind of, you know, that's lame. I mean, but whatever works. If that's what, you know, if you want to do the airplane handshake coming from 5 meters, sort of style, that's cool, you know, but own it. But yeah, I'm not much of a door knocker. I think the new doors are social media platforms. That's what I think.
Perfect. Right, we're just sort of about out of time. Frankie, do you have anything else burning in your brain to ask Deni?
I think we've pretty much covered everything today. I'd just say I could sit here for another hour and listen to you talk about it, to be honest.
Yes,
hey, depending on the response, we can do it again. A couple of quick things. I know we've got to go, but if you're going to try the video content, cut to the chase. They just want the information. Like, hi, I'm Bevin, Queenstown real estate man, and blah, blah, blah. You got 3 seconds. Otherwise, they'll keep scrolling. So, you've got to do that. Yeah, the hook is normally at the end. It's like our advertising text. I'll end up waxing lyrical, and then I'll put the call to action or the motivation at the bottom, and then I'll always stick it at the top because, like, you've got to capture them, and then they'll keep reading the whole thing. It's like all advertising like that. You've got about, you've got about 3 seconds to get your hook in. So they know what your name is. It's above you on your brand, on whatever platform it is. I'm Queenstown Real Estate Man. So, just get straight into the information and be yourself.
So Jennifer's asking for your Instagram handle. Hey, so we're going to send out, because there's a few people missing from registration to live, which is normal. Everyone sort of different things happen. So what we do is we send out a recording of this afterwards. So you'll all get a recording, and in the email, I'll also put Denis' Instagram handle, so you can go follow him if you want. Again, like, create a connection. And the good thing is Denis in Queenstown, and a lot of you guys, one's from Austin, Texas, but a lot of you guys will be from Auckland. A lot of our clients are from Auckland. So, it's always good too, so you pick up the phone, you say, hey, Deni, I've got a client coming down to Queenstown, you show them around.
Referrals. I love doing referrals, and I am always find me wherever and message me. If you want to have a big conversation, I'm happy to take a call. I do genuinely like helping people. Generally, my handle is Deni Bevin, which is uniquely spelled DENIBEVIN, or I'm Queenstown Real Estate Man. On TikTok, I'm just Queenstown Man. So,
perfect. And also, Jenny's touched on this, but he is a snowboarder and he goes up the mountain all the time. So if you want a little bit of FOMO around winter time, definitely follow Deni, because you'll get all the greatest tips on where the fresh powder and everything is too. So I really enjoy following that.
A quick hook on referral, because I've got to ask for the business, is that if we do referrals and it results in something happening, obviously, we'll all get paid. But if it's in the winter, I'll take you heliboarding or heli skiing. And if it's in the summer, I'll take you for a mountain bike trip. So, your own ass down here. And it's a long way from Texas, but...
Hey, I love it. So let's wrap up here. Frankie, thanks for co-hosting. This was me and Frankie's first time co-hosting, I think, wasn't it? We'll do this again, definitely. 10 out of 10 would do again. And Deni, thank you so much for all your insights, and thanks everyone for coming. We'll wrap it up.
Thanks to yourself, and obviously thanks to Relab. What you guys are doing is great. You guys have definitely been providing value. I've used a bunch of the content you've put up, so thanks.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Okay, see you guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, team. Have a good one.